They say that memory is the architecture of the soul. It is the library where we keep the stories of who we are, who we love, and what we are capable of. But what happens when the library burns down? What happens when you wake up in a white room, and the man holding your hand tells you that the library never existed? That you are not an architect, but a blank page waiting for him to write on? My name is Camille. For 6 months, I believed I was a simple housewife. A woman who loved gardening and baking bread. A woman who had suffered a tragic fall that wiped her slate clean. I believed the man who called himself my husband was a genius, a savior who was taking care of his slow, confused wife. But the brain is a stubborn organ. It hides secrets in the folds of neurons that no fall can erase. And when I finally found the key to the locked room in my mind, I realized that I wasn't just a wife. I was the creator. And the man being applauded on television as the Einstein of the 21st century was nothing more than a thief wearing my wedding ring. This is the story of how I woke up from a lie, and this is how I took back my mind, one equation at a time. The awakening was soft, like surfacing from deep water. I opened my eyes to a room bathed in sunlight. A man was sitting next to the bed. Handsome, scholarly. He wore glasses and a tweed jacket. "Camille," he whispered, his eyes filling with tears. "Oh, thank God, you're back." "Who are you?" I asked. My voice felt rusty. "I'm Adrian," he said, kissing my hand. "I'm your husband. You had an accident, darling. You fell down the stairs in the library. You've been in a coma for 3 weeks." I tried to sit up, but my head spun. "I don't remember anything," I cried. "I don't know who I am." "Shh. It's okay," Adrian soothed, stroking my hair. "I remember for both of us. You are Camille Vance. You are the love of my life. You love roses, you hate coffee, and you spend your days making our house beautiful while I work in the lab." "The lab?" I asked. A spark flared in my brain. "Do I work in the lab too?" Adrian laughed gently, a patronizing sound. "Oh no, sweetie. You struggle with the microwave. Science isn't your thing. You are the heart of this home, not the brain. I'm the scientist. You are my muse." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was so confident, so articulate. He brought me home to a stunning glass mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean. For months, I lived the life he constructed for me. I watered the roses, I baked the bread. I waited for him to come home from the Institute. He would come home exhausted, talking about the project. "We are close, Camille," he would say over dinner, drinking expensive wine. "The neural link. It's going to change the world. It will allow humans to interface directly with AI. It's going to make me a billionaire. And I'm doing it all for us." I would smile and nod. "That sounds wonderful, Adrian. You're so smart." But at night, the dreams came. I dreamed of numbers. Not just simple math, but complex, cascading algorithms. I dreamed of neural pathways lighting up like cities at night. I dreamed of a blue notebook. I would wake up sweating, my fingers twitching as if typing on a phantom keyboard. "Just anxiety," Adrian would say, giving me a small blue pill. "Go back to sleep, my simple girl." The cracks in the lie began to appear on a rainy Tuesday. Adrian had left for a conference in London. He left his briefcase in the study. He rarely made mistakes, but he was arrogant. I went into the study to dust. I wasn't supposed to touch his papers. "Too complicated for you," he always said. But I saw a notebook on the desk, a blue notebook, the same one from my dreams. My heart hammered against my ribs. I reached out and touched the worn leather cover. I opened it. The handwriting inside wasn't Adrian's sharp, angular scrawl. It was loopy, curved. It was my handwriting. I flipped through the pages, formulas, sketches of a neural interface, code written in Python and C++, and in the margins, notes to myself, "Camille, check the synaptic latency. The bridge is unstable." I felt a physical blow to my chest. I started reading the formulas, and here is the terrifying part. I understood them. I didn't just understand them. I knew what came next. I knew the flaw in the design on page 42 before I even turned the page. I sat in that chair for 5 hours. The fog in my brain burned away, replaced by the cold, hard clarity of a diamond. I wasn't a housewife who struggled with the microwave. I was Dr. Camille Vance. I was a double PhD holder from MIT. I was the one who founded the Neuralink project. Adrian was my lab partner, my mediocre, ambitious, lazy lab partner who had been riding my coattails for 10 years. I remembered the accident now. I had found him copying my files onto a private drive. I had confronted him. "I'm leaving you, Adrian," I had said, "and I'm taking my research with me." He had grabbed me. He had pushed me. I remembered the sensation of falling, the stairs, the darkness. He didn't call an ambulance immediately. He must have waited. He must have hoped I would die. But when I lived, he improvised. He realized that a wife with amnesia was better than a dead wife. He could steal my brain and keep my trust fund. I looked at the computer screen on his desk. It was open to a press release. Tomorrow, Adrian Vance unveils the Neuralink, the invention of the century. He was going to launch my life's work as his own. He was going to sell my company to a tech giant for $2 billion and write me out of history. I felt a rage so pure it felt like holiness. He told me I was nothing. He told me I was his muse. He reduced one of the most brilliant scientific minds of her generation to a woman who waters plants. I didn't call the police. That was too small. Adrian wanted fame. He wanted the world to see his genius. So, I decided to give him exactly what he wanted, a global audience. I spent the night preparing. I hacked into his cloud server. It took me 3 minutes. His password was his own name, the narcissist. I downloaded the original timestamps of every file. I found the emails he sent to investors claiming the work was his. And then I found the flaw. Adrian was smart, but he wasn't me. He had copied my code, but he didn't understand the underlying architecture. On page 89 of the protocol, there was a feedback loop error. I had written a note to fix it before the accident. Adrian hadn't fixed it. He probably didn't even see it. If he turned the machine on at full power, it wouldn't just fail, it would melt down. The launch was at the Silicon Valley Convention Center. Global press, tech moguls. I bought a ticket online using my old credit card number, which my brain miraculously retrieved from the deep storage of my memory. I didn't wear the floral dresses Adrian bought for me. I wore my old power suit, a sharp black blazer and trousers I found buried in the back of the closet. I pulled my hair back. I put on red lipstick. When I looked in the mirror, the housewife was gone. Dr. Vance was back. I arrived just as Adrian was taking the stage. He looked magnificent. The lights bounced off his glasses. The crowd hung on his every word. "The Neuralink came to me in a dream," he lied, pacing the stage like Steve Jobs. "I worked in isolation for 5 years. My wife, bless her heart, kept me fed while I wrestled with the impossible." The crowd chuckled, a patronizing laugh at the little wife. I walked down the center aisle. My heels clicked on the concrete floor like gunshots. "That's a fascinating story, Adrian." I projected my voice, "but you forgot to mention the part where you pushed the actual inventor down a flight of stairs." The room went deadly silent. Cameras swiveled. Adrian froze. He squinted into the lights. "Camille?" he stammered. "What are you doing here? Someone help her. She's not well. She has brain damage." Security guards started to move toward me. "I wouldn't do that," I said, holding up a tablet connected to the giant screen behind him. "Because unless you want this prototype to fry the brain of your volunteer, you need me to fix the code Adrian stole." I tapped a button. The giant screen behind Adrian changed. It split in two. On the left, the original blueprints dated 3 years ago, with author Dr. Camille Vance, clearly visible in the metadata. On the right, a video of Adrian in his study, practicing his speech, muttering, "How does this algorithm work? I don't get it. Whatever, I'll just fake the demo." The crowd gasped. It was a collective intake of breath that sucked the oxygen out of the room. Adrian turned pale. He looked like a ghost. "This is a deepfake," he screamed, sweat pouring down his face. "She's crazy. She's a gardener." "A gardener?" I smiled. I stepped onto the stage. I walked right up to the prototype machine. If I'm a gardener, Adrian, then why is the synaptic bridge set to 40 hertz? You know that causes a seizure in the frontal cortex, right? Adrian blinked. You don't know, I said softly into the microphone. Because you didn't write it. I did. I turned to the console. My fingers flew across the keyboard. I'm correcting the feedback loop now, I narrated, adjusting the latency. Bypass the firewall you put up to hide my signature. The machine hummed. It lit up a brilliant, stable blue. It worked perfectly. There, I said. Now it's safe. I turned back to Adrian. He was trembling. You stole my life, I said, my voice low and dangerous. You stole my memories. You tried to turn me into a pet. But you forgot the most basic rule of neuroscience, Adrian. I stepped closer, until I was inches from his face. The brain is plastic. It heals. But a lie? A lie is brittle. It shatters. Camille, please, he whispered, his microphone cutting out. We can share it. 50-50. Just stop. No, I said. I'm taking it all. The company, the patent, the house, and my name. I signaled to the back of the room. The police were already waiting. I had sent the evidence of the assault and the corporate fraud to the district attorney an hour ago. As they handcuffed Adrian on stage, live-streamed to millions of people, he didn't look like a genius. He looked like a small, pathetic man who had tried to blot out the sun. I made you, he screamed as they dragged him away. No, Adrian, I called after him. You just held my purse. I stand at the podium now. The crowd is on its feet. They aren't clapping for a housewife. They are clapping for the CEO. I took a deep breath. I am Dr. Camille Vance. I remember everything, and I have a lot of work to do. The moral of the story. There are people in this world who will try to make you feel small so they can feel big. They will try to rewrite your history, minimize your achievements, and convince you that you are incapable without them. This is not love. It is theft. Your talent, your intelligence, and your memories belong to you. No one has the right to take credit for your light. If you wake up one day and feel like you are living a life that doesn't fit you, listen to that feeling. Listen to the blue notebook in your mind. You are not a supporting character in someone else's movie. You are the director, the writer, and the star. Never let anyone tell you that you are just anything. You are everything you remember and everything you have yet to build. Take back your pen and write your own ending.